I'm Sally, and this is my brother Tim.
Yes.
And we're going to have a conversation about our family and our siblings and our grandparents.
Yeah, yeah.
All sorts of things. And about Tim, of course.
Right.
Okay, so just for the sake of records, can you tell me our grandparents and what their names were? Maybe a little bit about their parents and anything you know?
Grandpa Adams was from Canada, if I'm not mistaken. And when they got married, Grandma didn't know he was from Canada, and she wasn't real pleased about that. I think that was one of the stories. Grandpa's parents, I don't know the slightest idea. No. And Grandma was Meisner and associated with the Kellogg family also. That's as much as I know about them.
Yeah, that's...
So,
we just didn't have a lot of information about them. So what about grandparents?
Okay, Grandma, well, I told you about her. She made the best cinnamon rolls and was a pretty good cook. And Grandpa, let's see, he smoked a pipe.
Grandpa Adams.
Yeah, yeah. Arthur Adams and Edna Adams. I know Arthur's middle name.
It was Simeon.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
not sure, but I think so.
Yeah. He was from Canada. He was a shoe salesman. I remember that. And Grandma, her cinnamon rolls, and let's see, when Grandma was living with us on Oak Street, she had dementia. And I remember her eating bath beads, oil beads. Mom didn't like, she thought it was candy. And I remember I got out of the service and I'm home and of course I go in the bathroom, I go to the bathroom and everything. I left the toilet seat up and Grandma went in there and dipped. I heard from Mom about that. You always put the toilet seat on. Okay. Yeah, that was one thing. Grandpa Adams, he always had Beeman's gum. Do you remember the gum?
I don't.
He'd always give us gum. Smoked a pipe, it smelled good. With Grandma and Grandpa, I remember times Mike and I would spend time there when Mom was in the hospital. I remember going in the basement, and he did a lot of woodwork, and he would make boats for us. We'd see him, he'd carve it out in the saw and everything, and there's a paddle boat and a rubber band around the back, and you'd make a paddle wheel. And so, we'd sit in the bathtub with our boat, wind it up, and watch our boat go.
Oh, that's very cool.
That was cool.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
What about Grandma and Grandpa Smits?
Grandma and Grandpa Smits. I think Grandpa started working at the Pere Journal. Then he bought his own linotype and put it in his house. I'm pretty sure that's how that went, which started Smits, or Smits Typographics, or Smits Trade Shop, I think it was called then.
Okay.
Grandpa made the best booyah. This is a good story. I remember one year helping them butcher the chickens. Yeah. And Uncle Kenny had the hatchet, Uncle Jerome had the pail, and they'd cut the head off, and Uncle Jerome would put the pail over the chicken so it's not spraying blood all over. And of course, one time, and Grandma was watching this, cuts the head off, and Uncle Drum just let the chicken run all over the place. I can still hear Grandma hollering at him. and it was quite the sight to see.
I'm sure.
Yeah, that was a good one. I remember once there, they were having a booyah, and they had clotheslines, and they were open ends, and I'm climbing on there, and I'm looking in there, and there's a beehive in there. These wasps come out. I got stung all over the face.
Oh my gosh.
And Dad comes running out there, and Grandma comes running out there, and the rest of the day I've got patches of mud all over my face that's how you took care of bee stings then. Never forget that.
Oh, that was terrible.
Yeah.
You learn not to look in places that you should.
No. I put our clothesline up and I capped the ends right away. Can I go on to Uncle Leonard?
You can do whatever you want.
Okay. My great Uncle Leonard was a carpenter, and I did a lot of work with him. He taught me the trade, roofing houses and things like that. I've always looked up to him. He was the best.
He was the best.
He was an alcoholic, and he, thanks to Grandma and Grandpa Smits, he beat that habit, and he lived with them, maintained their house, and got his act together. I used to work with him, roofing houses, and he taught me the farmer blow.
Oh, yes.
Hold one nostril and let her out the other. He wouldn't let us, I had to piss in the bottle. You couldn't bother the customer. Just a great guy.
He was a great guy.
He, at the shop, Joel and I were working on something with him, fixing something down there. And I said, Joel, go out in the garage and get this. And so Joel goes out in the garage and he's looking at and I just keep at what I'm doing and everything. And I'm getting at it, and Leonard says, stop. I said, what? You never send someone out to do something and have the job done when he gets back. You wait till he gets back here and then we'll finish it. Taught me a good lesson there. Yeah, he taught me a lot. He was just a great guy. Yeah.
He was a great guy.
Yeah.
And didn't he build the house that Sanders lived in, and Mike and Jan?
Yeah.
On Volker Street?
I think he did.
He did, yeah.
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 Yeah, he was an amazing man.
Yeah. So talented. Yeah. Yeah.
So what about aunts and uncles? Did you have any that were your favorites that you had special relationships with?
It'd be Leonard. The other ones,
Not really.
not that close to. No. When talk about cousins, when Glenn would come to town,
Glenn Carter.
would come to town,
son.
Rita's son. When he'd come to town, I was always farmed over to Grandma's house. And we did things together.
Okay.
Did puzzles. I got a puzzle up at the cottage that we did together. One time we went out on the Hawkers Brickyard. They owned a big yacht. And we went out, we were probably there for a weekend with them on that yacht. And Glenn and I slept in a pull-out couch that was on it. And I remember driving along with them, and I got so seasick. I'm heaving, and Mr. Hawkers grabs me, brings me up and puts me in the captain's seat, and he said, now you can drive. And so I'm driving. I didn't get seasick anymore. I'm just driving the boat. Yeah, that was a special time.
And we're talking about Dad's siblings. I don't think I've asked anybody this, but can you name all of his siblings? And
Dad's siblings? Well, there's Kenny, Jerome, Rita, Eileen.
And Ruth.
Ruth, yeah, but Ruth, I don't, yeah,
When
she passed away.
when he was only like 2.
Right. And that's all of them?
I think so.
Yeah.
Rita, Jerome, Kenny, And the one in California,
Oh,
Elwood.
Elwood, yes, which we never saw.
We only saw him like in later years,
Right.
but that was a pretty good-sized family.
Yeah.
back then.
Yeah, and when they would come there, Elwood's kids were the Dickens.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they were just they ran Grandma through the mill. Not bad, but always doing tricks and things like that. I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing, Glenn and I we'd sleep in the living room there in the pull-out, and Grandma would come in. Both Glenn and I are laying in the bed. Oh, here she comes. And she comes in to say goodnight in her nightgown.
Okay.
And she bends down, and you gotta get a kiss. And she kisses you right on the lips. And Glenn and I are sitting there going, here she comes. But those are good memories.
Yeah, good memories.
Yeah.
What about mom's siblings?
Mom's siblings, there's Vivian, Uncle Art, Beth, yeah, which we don't know.
We don't know Beth.
Yeah.
Maybe, well,
Yeah.
we know of Beth.
Right,
We
right.
know of her history
Right.
with diabetes and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But she was gone before many of us. You were very young when she passed away.
I don't even remember that. No.
You weren't.
No.
I think it was just before Beth was born.
Yeah.
And then, of course, she was named after her. So, let's talk about Mom and Dad.
Okay.
And just for fun, can you tell us their really full names? And
Well, Emma June Smits, who she didn't like Emma, so she goes by June, or Emma June Adams, and no, she's Smits. And Randall Donald Smits. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
And they met in high school. Dad was in the plays, and he played an instrument, I'm pretty sure. And Mom was an artist, and she would set up the sets for the plays and stuff like that. So that's the way she was part of it. Yeah.
So they met.
They met, and Grandma and Grandpa Smits weren't wild about Mom because she wasn't Catholic. Dad used to walk her home from school, which was Nicolay High School, and he'd walk her all the way down to Grant Street, almost out to the highway here. That's where they lived, and then walk back home. They got through it though.
They did get through.
Yeah, Mom became a Catholic.
She did.
Yeah, so they could get married, and yeah.
And their relationship was always a little strained, right?
Yes, yeah, for sure. Mom wasn't a real social person, especially with Dad's family. Yeah.
Well, in Dad's family, they were very social.
Right.
They were,
Right.
And they got that from their mom.
I think Mom was a little intimidated with Rita and Uncle King. You know, they were more outgoing party type people, but they got along.
They did get along.
Yeah.
Do you remember, I've asked everybody this, do you remember the date of their first date?
Mom and Dad's first date?
Because Dad used to always give her flowers or write her a note or something.
Yeah.
I
don't.
You know, it's hard to
I don't remember the date.
It
You
was
know, but
May 14th.
yeah, I don't know the date. No.
And I only know that because I've read some of his notes.
Oh, okay.
And it said May 14th. But
Yeah.
I
Oh, he was a romantic. Oh,
Yes, he
Yeah.
certainly was.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
Are you more like Mom or are you more like
I'm
Dad?
more like Dad.
In
Yeah.
what ways?
In many ways.
Yeah, like?
Yeah, I'm bald. How am I like Dad?
You have a great sense of humor.
Yeah, yeah.
You're a lot
Sense
more
of humor.
bubbly. Our mom was very...
Right,
very
reserved,
reserved,
and yeah. I'm much more like Dad.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
are.
yeah.
A lot like Dad.
And growing up, they always said I was little Randall. So,
Oh,
remember,
that's
yeah,
pretty nice.
yeah. And then I look at her, oh, really? Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
Do you remember anything that Mom or Dad said to you that really stuck with you?
Oh,
Or maybe a concept?
it's something that I told my kids, be patient, it'll pass, you know. Just ride with it. Everything will be all right. Things like that. Never, don't take it to heart and, let it take you down. Just,
Yeah, I
and
wish I
people
would
can
know
be
that.
mean.
Yes,
Yeah.
they can
So.
be mean. How about turning the tables and talking about you a little bit? Can you tell me a story about your birth? Was there anything that
Well, all I remember is my birth is Dad saying he had to jump in the car and race me there because she was in labor and they just got to the hospital. I was born right away. I was one of her easiest births.
And the date, and if you know the time, any of that information?
I don't know the time, the date, Well, I know the date.
I'm glad you know the date.
Yeah.
So, did anybody ever talk to you about how you were like as a baby? Easygoing, colicky, or?
I wasn't colicky. I was a good kid. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah,
true.
it was easy going all the way.
What was it like for you growing up in a family of 12 children?
It was wonderful. It was wonderful. Some stories I can remember growing up is like once Mike and I, yeah, we were late for Beth's birthday party, which is dinner, and anyways, and we come in, and Dad says, "Okay, for your punishment, you've got to kiss your sister." And I laugh right now because I don't know who was punished more, me or Beth. But that was that was a good one.
Yeah, those were
Yeah.
the days. Those were the days.
Yeah.
And you know what? Talking about our birthdays, just give us your take on what the birthdays were like.
The birthday, well, they were wonderful. They made everything so special for us.
It was special.
Right.
Especially.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So much fun. Those memories. Some of your earliest memories of being a child.
Oh, going on our picnics with them. Originally, it was Bay Beach. I remember going to Bay Beach for a picnic, and we were young, and I can remember Beth by the lagoon and falling in the lagoon.
Mm-hmm.
Wapaka was always fun.
Mm-hmm.
Two Rivers, we'd go to Two Rivers and collect fossils, and how Dad did it with all those kids, and nobody drowned. Amazing.
Those are great memories.
Right. Going to Wapaka. I remember one year we brought this is when we were 18 years old, I think. Before I went in the service, I think, maybe. Well, anyways, we brought a quarter barrel along. And we get there, and I don't know who did it, but rolled the quarter barrel down the hill. Needless to say, it took a while to tap it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you remember what Mom used to fix for us at picnics?
Oh yeah, moose meat sandwiches, the ground bologna and pickles, and it was so good.
It was so good.
It was so good.
It was so good. Every time we went on a picnic, it was an adventure, and she always made those sandwiches.
And I also remember at Wapaka, Dad worked the night shift for the Press Gazette delivering papers, and we'd get there and we'd put up a tent, and he'd go in the tent and sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And once I went with him on his paper route, maybe once or twice, and boy, that guy worked so hard. Yeah. But
yeah, he had to.
Yeah, made ends meet just fine. Yeah.
Yes, he did.
Taught us good work ethics.
He did teach us good work ethics.
Yeah.
He did. Is there anything that you miss about being a kid?
Oh, being carefree and just having fun, you know.
That was,
Yeah.
those were the days.
Yeah.
Can you remember what it was like just being on Oak Street and
Oh, Oak Street. We
being
had
a
so
kid?
many kids, the Navoslats, the Kaziks, the Dantwines, going down to the coal docks and fishing for perch out of the Fox River and bringing them home and eating them. Yeah. We actually had times I can remember sitting over the coal docks and having the lines tied to our toes. The fishing cadet, you pull them up with your It was,
How about crayfishing,
crayfishing, going down to the creek. Yeah.
where we were never supposed
Not
to go?
supposed to go. Another thing we'd do is go to the creek with cardboard boxes and slide down in the summertime. The grass will slide down on the cardboard. Hurt like all get up, but you sure had fun.
It was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or going down, I remember Mike and I going into Verboxel's barn. You're not supposed to go in there. And there was a kid that was a friend of Mike's. He's a big chubby guy. And we go into the barn. I'm up in the hayloft looking down, and Mike's down there with a broom or anyways, a big handle like that. And I'm looking down at him. We're playing hide and seek in there. And I'm up there, I'm looking down, and he takes that broom and sticks it up in there, trying to get the straw out of there, caught me right under the nose, lifted me right off, bleeding like a stuffed pig. I come down, I'm crying, and, oh, don't tell Mom, don't tell Mom. And then we're running out of the barn, and there's a board across there. Mike and I go under and pet and go, boom, bounce right off and falls back. Got out of there. Oh, yeah. We used to catch pollywogs and grow frogs and catch turtles and do that. Snakes. Yeah. Good times down there.
Yeah, I also remember, I don't know if it was you and Mike, probably both of you, that used to play pranks on Mom. I remember, like, vomit, like...
Oh, the fake vomit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Fake vomit, throw that down. Someone had a whoopee cushion that you'd sit on that sounded like you farted.
Mm-hmm.
That was a funny thing to do, too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Another thing that I remember, Dad had to discipline us. And I could still remember Mike's in trouble. Down the basement he goes, and he'd spank you.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, you knew you weren't going to do that again. And I'd be by the back door. Just giggling, Mike got it. Another time Mike and I were upstairs in bed, and I forget what it was, but Mom says, and Dad's at work, of course, and Mom says, you boys come down here right now. And she's really mad. You're supposed to be sleeping and everything. Bend over. She takes off her slipper. Poof, poof, poof. That was our spanking and sent us up. Other times she'd make us stand down right in the corner and say, wait till your father gets home. And we wouldn't be standing there 15 minutes. She says, okay, you can go up. She wouldn't make us wait till Dad got home. Mm-hmm. But, she disciplined us too.
Yes, she did.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I remember the slipper.
Yeah.
There was talk about that for a long time.
Yeah.
Did you ever receive a gift that was especially memorable for you?
A gift?
Like at your birthday or Christmas?
Christmas. I remember when they bought me my first basketball. I was probably about 7th grade, something like that. And my first basketball, it was like a balloon. Boing, boing,
Mm-hmm.
But it was fine. That was nice. And that was the start of me playing basketball. And thanks to Dad got me. I enjoyed that sport very much.
Especially the time you ran too fast.
Oh, yes. That was another story.
Go ahead.
I think I was probably a sophomore in high school, maybe a sophomore in high school. I'm on the JVs, and I had one of my highest scoring games. And buddy I'm with had a bottle of booze. And we're drinking shots for each shot that I made. And I got home there and watching TV. And I go in and I walked through and I ran really hard at the game tonight. I'm going to bed. And I went up there and passed out in bed. I think I got sick in bed. And my loving sisters took care of me. Mm-hmm. And Mike is next to me. Let him die, he says. Let him die. But yeah, I forgot about that story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Good to get your perspective on
it.
Yeah,
yeah.
So, many of us worked at the shop from time to time doing little things, and some did much more. And so,
I think almost everybody in the family worked at the shop at one point or not. Melting lead, cleaning up the lead and bringing it out upstairs, and making the pigs. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was reading proof. Mm-hmm. Yeah, did that. My kids did it. Kathy did it. Sylvan worked for the shop. Helen read proof with Mom at the shop. Helen, my mother-in-law. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the shop was the best. When I was in the service, I can remember communicating with Dad through mail that when I get out, maybe I'll work at the shop. And I got a telegram from him stating he's going to be putting in photo typesetting. And he was running short on money for the down payment on the equipment. Mm-hmm. And I was able to invest some money, got some money to him so that he could go into the business or do that. Mm-hmm. So that was when I found out, I realized I was going to be working with him and everything, and that was great.
You had more than just a casual relationship with the shop and Dad.
He was a friend, a dad, partner, such a good influence on me too, yeah.
And the shop went from the linotype to
photo typesetting. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's where he needed the money for that. And, mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so you can probably, because of your situation with Dad and you're working there, you can give us a history of the shop better than anybody else. So you worked there when it was...
I was there, it was Smits Linotype Trade Shop. Mm-hmm. And then it became Smits Typographics, which I never liked because Smits Typographics, and I didn't care for that. Grandpa was always cutting, he wasn't on a linotype most of the time. He was cutting the lead and putting it in galleys to bring to customers. I remember going to all the customers and carrying that lead out of their shop in the car, bringing it home.
But the lead was typeset, so it was...
It was linotype.
It was linotype.
It was linotype, mm-hmm. Yeah. We had one lady come and borrow one of our type drawers, and she took it to her print shop and did her handset type and everything, brought it back, and I can remember bringing it down and dropping it on the floor.
No, on purpose?
No, not on purpose, okay. But who had to put all the letters back in. And at one time, I knew where all those letters go. Mm-hmm. Not so much anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back then. So you were Dad's partner then, and Joel. You were all partners in the business. But
right.
What was it like to work with your siblings?
That was very interesting. It was nice. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like I said, almost everybody did. Some stayed there longer. Barb was with us for a while. Mary Jo, of course, and Pam and Teresa. They were the most, Susan even worked there for a bit. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. I got a memory of on 4th Street when I was working there. I'm down in the shop working on nightlife. That magazine's for NWTC. It's their classes that they put out in the spring of the year, I think it is. And when it comes in, you're working damn near around the clock getting it out. And I'm down there all by myself. Dad was gone. Joel wasn't there. I don't know if he was working at the time, but anyways, I was there by myself. And I'm down there typing away. Grandma Smits comes down, about 10 o'clock at night this was. She comes down, didn't hear her, typing away. She put her hand on my shoulder. I like to jump right out of my pants. And I scared her. I looked, what do you want, Grandma? Can you come up and look out the window? I want to see what they're watching on TV. I said, I will not. And don't you ever do that again. She was so nosy. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Oh, that. Yeah.
She was a character.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. A good woman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then, like I said, when I sent Dad that money, it was agreed that I'd be a partner with him in the business. Mm-hmm. And that was pretty darn neat.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was saving all that money. Every paycheck I'd put money away. See, when I was in Texas, before I went overseas, I got engaged to Margaret Morales. That was her name. And so I'm saving for her to come over. We're going to get married and all that. And I got a Dear John letter. Mm-hmm. 6 months of saving and everything. And that was the best thing that happened to me. I remember I'm sitting there just crushed, and a good friend of mine comes over and says, Smitty, don't worry about it. It's all right. Because I would work my 8-hour day, and then I'd work 8 hours in the snack bar, and then I'd go home and sleep, 8, just like that. For 6 months I did that. And so I had pretty good amount of money saved up. And that's when Dad sends me a telegram that he needs some money for this. And I says, oh, I got it, no problem. Wired that, it was meant to be. Let's put it that way. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's how that all started, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, like I said, my buddy says, it'll be all right. Well, boy, did I start having fun after that. Okay, we're going to Corfu. We're going to spend 4 days in Corfu. And then we're going to Athens. Then we're going to go up to Oktoberfest. And, it was pretty nice.
Yeah.
But if I got married, I would have been in Texas. So mm-hmm. It was meant to be.
It was meant to be. I really believe that.
Yeah.
So, talking about our siblings, and we all have lots of stories about them. Who are you closest to?
Who am I well, Joel.
But when we were kids?
Well, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, we were just like 13 months apart, Mm-hmm. Mike and I did everything together until you reach an age where, leave me alone. He's going to go off with Mike George and this and that, and he doesn't need a little brother following. That's when Mom would take me under her wing, and she got me into baking, make cakes with her, and do things like that. And to this day, I just love making breads and this and that. So that's where that started. Yeah.
But she was quite a bread maker.
Oh yeah.
Boy, she came by that talent pretty naturally.
Naturally, yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because my memory of Grandma is that she used to bake and sell her bakery her baking to a bakery.
Yeah.
Like her pies and.
Yeah.
And then you talked about the cinnamon rolls when she used to come over
so
with
good,
that big white box. You always knew it was time to. And then, of course, you and Joel worked at the shop together.
Right. I was talking to Joel about it just the other day because we're discussing this, and here's Joel, and I'm going to start. It was the best working with him and Dad. When Joel came and applied for a job, and Joel was just happy-go-lucky, didn't worry about anything, and he comes in, and I'd like to work with you. This was after he graduated from TC and accounting, I think it was something like that. Anyways, and I remember saying, Joel, this is work. It's not an 8-hour day job. You might be working 12 hours. You might be working, whatever. And he said, no problem. And I didn't know that he could do it, and he sure could. So my doubts were wrong, but
yeah,
it was the best.
It was.
Yeah.
We were very fortunate to have that.
Yeah, it sure was.
Working with Dad and working with Joel.
Yeah.
So we've talked about our siblings a bit more, and just for fun, going down the list and maybe telling a little story.
I got a story about Susan. When I was a senior in high school, we went on a class trip to Canada, a canoeing trip up into Canada. And we got up there, went into the boundary waters into Canada, found this island where we're going to camp, made camp. Everybody brought their own booze. We're not supposed to be drinking, of course, but we're seniors in high school. Come on, everybody had booze, and I don't know how many. We got so drunk at times. Anyways, when the trip was done, I got sick when I was there. I came down with a real bad cold, and we canoed back, and I was so weak I could canoe, but boy, Bob Matsky was with me, and the poor guy worked his ass off getting us back. Bus ride back, I come home, I get in the house, and Mom sees me and she says, "Oh, you're all right?" And I said, "Well, I'm not feeling too good. I was sick in Canada and everything." Well, I got sores. They'd start off with like a little pimple, and then they'd get about the size of a nickel, an open sore. And they were all over my body, and the skin on my lips and in my mouth and down my throat was raw. And Mom took me, of course, they took me to the hospital. I was in there for a good time. And this is a story about Susan. I'm up there, and at one point, I think it was like 2 days in, I told them I don't want to see no more visitors, because people would come in and they'd look at me, and the look on their face was like, oh God, it's like no more visitors. And so only Mom and Dad would come up, and one day Susan comes in. "You're not supposed to be here." And boy, did she lay into me. She comes over and she says, "Tim, you're going to die." She told me I was going to die. And bless her soul, after she left, I'm sitting there going, well, I don't want to die. So then I told the nurses, get me anything that I can drink. And I started drinking. And I can still remember the straw, drinking, it was milk, because that didn't hurt one time, drinking milk, and the straw would have blood on it from this. And it didn't take long. Once I started drinking and getting fluids back in me, to where I got my strength back. But, geez, I'll bet you I was in there 10 days, maybe 2 weeks. But if it wasn't for Susan, Lord knows, because I was going right down. So, yeah.
She was an amazing person.
She was.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Just talk about each of our siblings that you can remember a story about.
Story. There's several of them. I remember when Pam got married, we went to her house and put her underwear in the freezer. Teresa, when she got married, we went to her house and put jingle bells under their bed. That was good. I don't know if there's any.
How about Barb?
When Barb got married?
Or just any stories you remember about Barb.
I remember her picking me and Tom Pronald up to go to a dance, and dance at Premontre, it was at the time, and Pronald saying, "Hey Barb, can you get us some beer?" Barb looks at him and says, "You're not a chance, kid." Well, we tried.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Barb was a good person.
Mm-hmm.
Another story about Barb. There was one time, family meeting, someone did something they shouldn't have done, and no one owned up to it. And of course, we're sitting around, okay, come on, who did it? Who did it? And nobody owned up to it. And all of a sudden, I did it. Barb says I did. I know she didn't do it. But she just was a peacemaker that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, those were great days.
I remember one birthday. That was my 18th birthday. Randy, for my birthday, bought me a 6-pack of beer and a carton of cigarettes. Mom was not happy.
I can't imagine why.
Yep.
I can't imagine that he would give that to you with her knowing about it. Yeah.
Another thing this is just a story about when we built the pigeon coop in the garage. Leonard, Mike, and I built the pigeon coop. And of course we insulated and had it all. It was so nice and everything. And we lost Uncle Leonard's knife. Mike bought that house. Mike lived on Oak Street, didn't he? No, who did?
Nobody bought the house.
Mike knew people that bought the house on Oak Street. Mike knew them.
Okay.
And they tore down the pigeon coop and found that knife and gave it to Mike.
Nice.
So we got Leonard's knife back. So
That's
that was a good story.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah.
And Joel, you've talked a little bit about. Are there any other stories that stick in your mind that you'd like to share about him?
Joel loves to fish. We bought the old O'Connell cruiser, and we would go on Lake Michigan with that. And Joel would look at Lake Michigan and get seasick. He would try, but we'd have to take him in because he'd be sick.
Mm-hmm.
And but I fished out on Lake Michigan with Dad an awful lot. And I remember we made our own downrigger pole, or pole holder, downrigger holder. And first time we're using it, it's just me and Dad in the boat. And we're trolling out, and we got our lines out, and the weights are down, going along, and all of a sudden our board flips up, and the poles are going straight out. We didn't lose them, but pulled it back. Learning lesson there.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah.
How about Teresa?
I think once at the shop, Dick Marb's at the shop, we used to goose people Carl Yoppie would come down and goose them with the line gauge. And once I was reading proof or something, I think Teresa actually came over and goosed me.
Oh, wow. Pretty cool.
Yeah. And Mary Jo worked at the shop and typed, and she had real long fingernails. And she actually had grooves in the keyboards from her fingernails. I remember that about it, yeah. Sally, did you work at the shop?
I just did the availability.
Availabilities, okay.
Yeah, I never really
Yeah.
I wasn't a big fixture at the shop.
Yeah.
I only worked for a short time.
I don't think I ever did any pranks on you that I can recall.
Mm.
No.
You must have some good memories of me, though.
Well, of course. I loved going over to your house when you'd have parties, you and Brad, and we had some wonderful Christmas parties there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, I remember when you were a little kid, and we're going on a picnic, probably to Point Beach or Two Rivers, and I can remember holding you in the car. You were just a little tiny thing.
Nice.
You're sound asleep in my arms. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, that was cool.
Memory. That's a great memory.
Yeah.
Oh, how about our sweet sister Holly?
Oh, Holly. She liked wrestling. Just loved wrestling, and I would always tease her. I'd say, Holly, those guys wear women's underwear. She would get so mad, and I teased her about 3 times, and she started crying, and I couldn't tease her anymore. Never did I say that again.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a point I'd tease her about her hair turning gray. She didn't like that either, so. But she was just a bundle of love. Yeah. Seeing her in the playpen and sticking my finger up in that hole where you'd pull it up, and just good times with her. Yeah.
Such good memories. Of all the siblings, who do you think was the most talkative?
The most talkative. Pam. I would say Pam, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How about surprised you the most?
Pam.
Mm-hmm. In what ways?
She's still alive.
Yeah.
She bounced back from so many things. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. We used to call her at the shop, we used to call her the gutter snipe, because she has a foul mouth. I won't say what her favorite word is, but it begins with an F.
We interviewed her.
Oh, you did? Okay. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. She would sit across from me when we're working, and she'd have a sandwich, and we'd be eating lunch. All of a sudden she'd go. Then she'd say, guess what? I'm supposed to guess what she's eating. Yeah.
Yeah, that girl is full of piss and vinegar.
Yeah, she is to this day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who was the worst roommate?
The worst roommate?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you're not talking military.
No.
You're talking about family?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the best and the worst, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
Because we were so close. Yeah.
And your room on Oak Street was, can you talk about it a little bit? Because it wasn't like a regular room.
No, it wasn't a regular room. We all the boys slept up there. It was hot. I don't think it was finished. I think the insulation was, you weren't touching it and everything, but it was all there. I can remember laying there playing I Spy, just to go to sleep, or going out and looking over to Coleman's to see if Pudgy's out there, or if Carmen's, or sneaking down. Mike and I would go sit right at the end and look around the corner, and they'd be watching some spooky or a movie or something, and they'd send us up. Yeah.
Mom loves spooky movies.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And she worked all day long, but at the end of the day when she was folding clothes, a lot of times she would watch a spooky movie if there was one on.
They used to read to us a lot.
She did. Yeah.
I loved that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's how I read to my kids, and I read to my grandkids, and just love it. So, and Ava's reading to her baby, and it's great.
Who do you think had the most fun in high school?
We all had a lot of fun in high school. Susan, she was homecoming queen,
Yes, she was.
and it wasn't Ricky. It was Danny Joe was king. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Very cool.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So yeah, she.
yeah.
But you're right. I think all of us had a good time in
Right.
high school. And
Yeah.
who do you think has the worst temper?
Worst temper? I would say that's me.
Really?
Yeah. You don't want to get me mad. If I'm talking to you and spit's coming out of my mouth, you know you're in trouble. If something really bothers me, and I get a short fuse that way. But worst temper, maybe I'm being hard on myself, but I'd say me.
Okay.
Yeah, because I don't see anyone else getting mad. We all get mad at times.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Did you have a best friend who wasn't a sibling when you were a kid?
Best friend that wasn't a sibling. I had a lot of best friends. I guess I did an awful lot with Bernie Bangert growing up. Yeah, we would camp out, and Mark Dorn was a good friend too. Yeah, and Dennis Dantoin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, those
As
are
far as
my-
best friends, they all were.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, they all were good friends.
Yeah, those were that neighborhood.
You couldn't ask for a better neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What schools did you go to?
I went to Old St. Joe's, and then the new school, which is Our Lady of Lourdes now. And from there I went to Abbott Pennings. And from Abbott Pennings I went to NWTC for architectural, industrial drafting. And then I didn't like that, so I dropped out of school there and enlisted in the Air Force. I went to basic training in Lackland Air Force Base in San Antonio. And then I went to Goodfellow Air Force Base in San Angelo for tech school, where I was trained as a radio intercept analyst. And then I went from San Angelo to Kelly Air Force Base in San Antonio, where I was a key punch operator. And there, 8 hours a day, I would enter the coordinates where we were dropping bombs in Vietnam.
Wow.
8 hours a day. Coordinates where we were dropping bombs.
Wow.
And then from there, I went to San Vito de Normandy Air Force Base in San Vito, Italy. And there we monitored communist communications. There it was Morse code. I had our compound, we had an antenna that was, I'll bet you, at least 3 city blocks. A great big round, we used to call it the elephant cage. And it was all Morse code. And I was the analyst, so I had my desk and I had 300 lights in front of me. And these 300 guys are out in the compound spinning their dial, and they'd find someone sending something, they'd start typing it, and there'd be, and then they'd light would go on. I'd have to go out there and look and see what they're doing, and I look and I said, well, that's just weather, air to ground weather, nothing to be concerned with, just yeah. I never had anything big come up. We did have, and like I said, it was radar based, but we also had in another room where they had the big screen that would be going around. And once we had an SOS come in where this boat out in the Adriatic was having problems, and so I go there and tell them we got this message, the problem, this, and so they got the coordinates for that, and we're able to cross it over, and we're able to find where the boat was and rescue it. That was kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
That was cool.
So, were you in Greece?
Yeah, I was in Greece. I was in Greece, Germany, of course, all over Italy, Sicily. Yeah, I did. That was my time off. I worked 4 days, 4 swings, 4 mids, and then 4 days off. And the 4 days off was just...
But you were stationed in Italy.
Stationed in Italy.
I always thought you were stationed in Greece.
No. Okay. Greece is where...
That's where you had fun.
Right.
Okay.
We'd get off work, and we'd go down to where the ferry was that would take you across the Adriatic to Corfu, Greece. And we'd spend 4 days in Greece, rent these motor scooters and drive all over the island and meet tourists, drink fixed beer, F-I-X, fixed beer, ouzo, and lemonade. And the bar there that we'd go to frequent was Dirty Dick's American Bar and Grill. Yeah. Yeah, that was a wonderful time.
Yeah.
Got in a motorcycle accident over there. Coming back from a bar and coming around a corner, lost control and wrapped the bike right against a tree, messed up my knee, and left the bike there. Got back to the hotel, and next day we were heading back to base, and got on the boat, went back to base, and went right to the office and told them what happened, and talking to security there, and they said, well, if we hear anything, we'll let you know, and I never heard a thing about it.
Okay.
But messed up my knee good.
Did you have a favorite teacher when you were in high school?
Favorite teachers, yes. And all the kids are going to say this in grade school, was Sister Sienna Marie. Mm-hmm. She's a saint. Yeah, she was the best. She was my favorite in grade school. And in high school, my favorite teacher was Father DeGroat. He was an algebra teacher. And he was also my freshman basketball coach. Yeah.
Would you say that he had the most impact on your life?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he did it from Aberpenning. He did, yeah. He just was a good guy. He well, first of all, he passed me in algebra. That was real nice. I passed, but he helped me out an awful lot there. Basketball. What did he call me? I was his number one gunner because I like to shoot. But he was a good guy. And I seen him years later. He was at the church in Green Bay, and it was just so nice to see him. And he remembered me right away.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What year did you graduate?
I graduated in 68. Yeah.
68. And you've told us that after high school, you went to NWTC for a while, and then you went into the service.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So you thought about going to college. Did you ever think about going to a 4-year college?
No, not at all.
So you've touched on this a little bit, but the woman that you met in Texas, that you got engaged to.
Yeah.
And could you talk about her as your first love?
Oh, she wasn't my first love.
Okay, that's the question then. Who was your first love?
Girlfriends. I got them all listed here. Oh, yeah, there was Patty. I'm not going to say last names. Patty, Donna, Jackie, and Margaret Morales. those were the, yeah. Of all of those, Donna was the.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, when I was in the service, I went and visited her for a little while. I went and visited Randy, and then I went. She was on the other side of the state, and then I went over to see Donna for a little bit, and that's when I still had her ring, and she had my, and we, it wasn't going to be, and we just, it was so nice. We just said, yeah, it's not going any further than this, and we got our rings back, and it was just a nice breakup that way. Yeah, that was Donna. She was good. And then of course there's Kathy, who I met at the Club 18, and her best friend was Mary Tremmel, and Kenny married Barb, so that's how she, and so I knew her from the club. And one time I'm sitting at the club with Tom Phimister, and Kathy was sitting right next to me, and we weren't dating, weren't doing anything, but just friends, kind of acquaintances, let's put it that way. And Tom says, my date canceled on me. I got 2 tickets for Doc Severinsen, and you want them? And I said, sure. So he gives me the tickets, and hey, how'd you like to go see Doc Severinsen? And I asked Kathy, and she said, well, sure. And that was our first date.
Nice.
So that's where it started. And I think we dated for like 6 months or something. I'm not sure how long it was, but she worked at Schreiber Cheese. And I would go and pick her up after work and take her home, and we'd go to the bar or Club 18 or whatever. And when we got engaged, I picked her up and brought her to Kroll's. And before we went into Kroll's, I asked her to marry me.
Would you say that was one of the most romantic?
Yeah, that was. I'm not a real romantic guy, but that was pretty neat.
Yeah.
So
tell us about, well, you told us about how you meet. Tell us the story of your wedding.
Our wedding? Oh gosh, what fun was that? I had high school friends, I had service friends come. So much, of course, all family and everything. It was just a wonderful party. It was just great. That's all I can say about it. It was just great. Matter of fact, we were the last to leave. We stayed to the very end. Everybody was gone. We said goodbye to everything. It was just a wonderful time. I can still see out there with Porky, my service buddy, and a couple others doing the Greek dance, and that was really nice.
It was a great party.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the rest is history, right?
Yeah, it is.
So you got married and you had children, right?
Yeah.
Tell us about your children. What was it like when you found out you were going to be a parent?
Well, it was wonderful, but initially, Kathy wasn't sure that she wanted to have kids.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I can remember telling her, I said, Kathy, when they're yours, you'll love me. It'll be fine. It's, Mm-hmm. So we decided to have kids. And God, it seemed like it took forever for her to get pregnant with Matt. And then he was born, and God, I remember being there in labor with her, and I wouldn't put anybody through that. That was, but what a trooper she was. And I remember after he was born and everything, I walked out of there and says, I will never put her through that again. Never. And then I go back in and she's like nothing happened. I said, I can't believe this, Yeah. That was really neat. And then we said, well, let's have another child and everything. It took a while to get Matt pregnant. But then, boom. Right away. And I remember going to the doctor. She comes back. We're sitting on the front stoop. I'm pregnant. Well, that was fine, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the best thing that ever happened to us, those two boys. Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about both of them?
Before we do that, I can remember us saying, well, should we have another?
Mm.
And Kathy said, should we have another? And I says, no, because it'll be a boy and I'll hate him because I want a girl. No, that was the joke at the time. He says, no, 2 kids are enough. And that's where we decided to end that. I tell them about the boys.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're my pride and joy. Yeah. To this day, I get together with them Wednesday nights for a beer or whatever, and all I got to do is ask, they'll help me, and vice versa. Yeah, they're good kids. I'm so proud of both of them. You know, they both had their tough goings, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But
Part of life.
yeah, it sure is.
And I saw a picture earlier of your family now that tell us about your grandkids and your great grandkids.
Yeah, they're wonderful, you know, and it's the grandkids and great grandkids are so much easier than your own, you know. Loving those little ones up when they're babies is just wonderful, you know, holding them, and then when they get fussy, here you go, you got them, give them back. Yeah. And then they're like Ava. She went into the military and is doing real well for herself. And she's got a wonderful guy, Carlos. And Bella's just the sweetest little thing. And she sends us videos of her walking around. And, you know, we've gone and visited her, which is nice. And Ariel and Kendra around. We see them, they're both in college, and Amia's in college, and we see them an awful lot. So, yeah. They're all doing good.
Yeah.
Knock on wood.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's great to be a grandparent.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
And a great grandparent.
Yeah. It's wonderful. What would you say is your proudest achievement as a parent?
Well, being a good father and provider and friend and yeah, but good father, husband, and friend. Yeah.
What do you think your kids would say about you?
What would they say about me? Well, I'd hope they'd say I'm a good person and a good dad and a nice guy. That's what they'd say.
Yeah. When you were younger, or maybe when you were older, did you ever go hitchhiking?
Hitchhiking sure did.
Mm-hmm.
I remember once hitchhiking across the bridge to go to the theater, me and Bernie Bangert, and we get in the back seat, and before we're crossing the bridge, the guy turns around and grabs by the shirt like this. How much money you got? We don't got any money, don't got any money. And I think he slapped Bernie, something like that. And we didn't give him any money, but got to the foot of the bridge and they let us out. And boy, I tell you what, I don't think I hitchhiked again after that. No.
That's scary.
Yeah. And I didn't want my kids to hitchhike, you know.
If you had a motto, or maybe you do, what is it, or what would it be?
Oh. Go for it. Live life to the fullest. Yeah.
If you could choose any talents to have, what would they be?
Well, I wish I could draw.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not an artist at all. I didn't take after Mom. My joke is the only thing that I can draw is a beer and flies.
And not some of us just didn't get those talents.
No.
And other people
No.
certainly did.
Yeah.
What are you doing in retirement to keep yourself busy?
Retirement? I volunteer, well, up at the cottage, we're up at the cottage a lot. I volunteer up there as a boat monitor. There's invasive weeds in our lake, and so I'll sit a couple hours a day there, and boats come in, and I just tell them there's invasive weeds in the lake. When you pull your boat out, make sure there's no weeds on your trailer or on your boat or on your propeller, because the DNR catches you, you get fined for that. And they would, you know. So just so it doesn't spread. That's where I volunteer there. I volunteer with Salvation Army. I ring bells an awful lot during Christmas time. Love it. I see so many old friends, and I get a ton of hugs. Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. And people get hugs that they don't want to.
You don't know that they don't want.
Yeah.
You also worked with elderly people.
Oh, well, that wasn't volunteering. That was, that was my next career after retirement. I was a caregiver for senior citizens. Yeah, that was most rewarding. Did that for 9 years. And I made some wonderful friends. The hardest part about it is they die. And I've been with them when they die. And that's very rewarding. You know, keeping them comfortable. And one client, this is kind of gross, but he had a bed sore real bad. And I can remember helping the nurse debride it and clean it, and it was the most disgusting thing, but it had to be done. And, you know, didn't bother me one bit, because I know I'm making him comfortable. That wasn't Joseph, it was Doug. And I remember I'd have to get him out of bed and walk him, when he had to go to the bathroom, walk him to the bathroom and sit him on the toilet. And I can still see him sit there going, "Well, Tim, just sitting and shitting, just sitting and shitting." But, yeah, I was with him when he died. I actually closed his eyes, and it was, the family members were all just sobbing. But very rewarding.
You have a special gift.
Yeah. But after 9 years, and when my last client died, Joseph, I said, that's enough. Yeah. But that was a great job. And not a lot of people can do it.
No.
Yeah. At Home Instead, there was, the majority of them were women. And there were men, but not as many. And it was a good job. Yeah. You felt good when you're done.
Yeah.
You felt good when you're done after 9 years.
That's a long time.
Yeah, yeah. And you know, the hardest part was, I understand the frustration the kids have when they come and see their parents the way the shape they were in, and how they couldn't function like they used to. And not everybody has that talent to be a caregiver and everything. And they don't have patience with them. And sometimes they would talk to them, and I just, several times I said, you don't need to talk to them like that. Politely I said it, you know. But sometimes I wanted to just tell them to leave, but couldn't do that. But that wasn't all of them. The majority of them were good. Yeah.
I remember when Mom was when you'd come in and talk to Mom, and
Yeah.
you just have a special gift.
Yeah.
As you say, not there. Just anybody can't do that.
Yeah. That was something I loved doing. Is when she was in the nursing home, going and reading to her. Yeah, she would. She just loved it.
Mm-hmm.
You know. Yeah.
Has your life turned out different than you thought it would?
No. No, I kind of just the way I want it.
That's good.
Yeah.
If you had one question you could ask Mom and Dad, what would it be?
Are you happy you had so many kids? I know what the answer is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you remember, Mom, when she'd get upset? How you could tell?
Because she had that vein.
The vein, but her nose.
Mm-hmm.
You could just tell. Oh.
Or she would start laughing,
Mm-hmm.
and then she'd start crying.
Yeah.
So it was fun, and then it wasn't fun.
Yeah.
Everything would get very quiet.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What do you want future generations to know about you?
Well, like I said, that I'm a caring, good person. Hard worker.
Mm-hmm.
Dedicated. Pretty much that's it.
If you could change one thing in your life, what would it be?
There was a time that I got upset with Dad and I laid into him. And I maybe said some things I wish I never did. He understood. If I had anything changed, I would have never done that.
Has faith played a big part in your life?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Catholic schools all the way, except TC. I can remember going out to bar with Mike and Mark Dorn, and we're coming home, and we spent the night someplace, and I made him go to church with me. Stopped after him. They had to go to church with me. We're going to church, guys. Okay. But yeah, and even when I was in service, I didn't go all the time, and that's going to church. Faith is deep in me. You know, I don't need to go to church. I've got a strong faith without going to church, you know. But I still do. I still like to go to church, but it's not a necessity. But I do have a strong faith.
Mm-hmm.
I believe in the big guy above. For sure.
So just kind of backtrack a little bit, because when you were born,
Yeah.
and Dad filled out your birth certificate, what was unusual about that?
My father's spelling. My name is Timothy. And I found that out when I went in the service. I had to sign everything Timothy with an H. Well, Thomas has an H, and I understand that, Dad. That's no problem. And in the service, my buddies called me Thim. And I went along with it just fine. It was a good joke. But when I got out of the service, I didn't want people calling me Thim after that. That was enough. Another thing I didn't like to be called was Timmy. I despised being called Timmy. So
I remember Everett calling you Timmy.
there were some people who would always call me Timmy, and I don't call me Timmy. Don't know why. Yeah.
I remember a story about you that you may remember too, because you have your handkerchief out. But when you were in the service, there seemed to be a story about somebody talking to you about what you were holding, and you said hanky.
Oh, that was in boot camp. Yeah. They show you how to fold all your clothes. And it has to be just right. Okay? Well, I didn't get the handkerchief right. And so I'm back there, raise my hand. Aaron Smits, what do you want? Can you show me how to fold this hanky? What did you say? They lay it into you, you know. I don't call it, it's a handkerchief. Okay, gotcha. Another time in boot camp, mail call. I get a ton of mail, and I'm sitting back there reading my mail, and I start whistling. What's that noise? Oh, shit. I had to get up in front of the squadron and try and whistle. I'm telling you what, you get up there, you think you could whistle? I couldn't whistle. Yeah. Well, that's in basic training. They'll do anything to break you down to nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But it was a good time, though. I'm so glad I went in. Grew up. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing I hated when I'd call home, this is strange, but to this day I don't like it. I can remember Dad saying, "Oh, it's so good to hear your voice." Big deal. It's nice to talk. I just never liked that term. It's good to hear your voice. Isn't that strange?
Mm-hmm.
But it's always been something. Yeah.
We talked about birthdays, but what are your memories of Christmas?
Oh, Christmas. I can remember going down the steps and looking around, me and Mike looking around the corner, and the room was just full of toys. How they did it, I don't know. And Christmas tree lights were on. Never heard them doing it all. No. I think once Mike and I went down and found one of our toys and went up and set it up in the room. That wasn't a good thing to do. But that was just wonderful. Yeah. That was Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
They always made it special. Where would they hide all those things?
Somebody else's house.
Yeah.
In the dungeon basement.
Yeah.
Yeah, who knows?
And my joke about Mom and Dad is they didn't go out dancing and go bowling or things like that, but I know what they did. They had 12 kids, so I know what they did for entertainment. Yeah. They were a loving couple. Yeah.
Yes. You die. What's next?
Hopefully heaven.
Well, thank you so much
Yeah.
for letting us come and talk to you and sharing all those great memories.